Hello everyone, and welcome to our presentation on local differential privacy, what we like to call stay local, stay private. We are Noam Shabat, Zhiyi, and Tzachi Elya, and we're thrilled to show you how this innovative approach transforms personal data protection by moving the privacy mechanism directly onto your device. Today, we'll delve into the technology behind local DP, explore its benefits, and demonstrate how it provides a robust defense against large-scale data breaches, an increasingly vital solution in our digital age. Let's get started. Before we turn to the local differential privacy model, let's briefly remind ourselves of the essence of differential privacy as we learned. Differential privacy. It's a mathematically rigorous framework that ensures the outcome of any analysis on a dataset remains nearly the same whether or not any single individual's information is included. This protection is achieved by adding carefully calibrated noise, which limits how much any one person's data can influence the results. We typically quantify this guarantee with two key parameters. Epsilon represents the privacy loss. A smaller epsilon means that the output is nearly invariant to any single data point, offering stronger privacy, but often at the cost of reduced accuracy. Delta is a small relaxation term that allows for a tiny probability that the privacy guarantee might be slightly exceeded. In essence, while we strive for strict protection, Delta acknowledges that there can be very rare exceptions. Differential privacy also provides resilience against re-identification attempts, even when adversaries have additional background information. With these fundamentals in mind, let's now explore how these principles extend when the privacy mechanism is applied directly on each user's device. Now let's turn our attention to local differential privacy, or LDP. LDP takes the core idea of differential privacy and applies it right at the source, on your device. Instead of collecting raw data at a central server and then anonymizing it, each individual's data is perturbed locally before it's transmitted. This means that data collectors only receive anonymized information, which dramatically reduces the risk of large-scale breaches. Even if an attacker manages to intercept the data, they end up with only noisy, obfuscated information that reveals little about the true values. What's more, this decentralized approach eliminates the need to trust a single entity with your sensitive data, thereby mitigating a major vulnerability inherent in centralized systems. By empowering each user to protect their own data, LDP ensures that even in a scenario where several data sources are compromised, the risk to any single individual remains minimal. With this understanding of how LDP works, let's now delve into why this approach is not only innovative, but absolutely essential in today's digital landscape. Why do we need local differential privacy? Let's consider why local DP is not merely a nice-to-have, but a necessity in our current digital ecosystem. I'd like you to reflect on two critical challenges. Widespread data sharing. Our personal data isn't stored in one isolated location. It's scattered across countless online services and companies. Every app, website, and platform you use collects a piece of your digital footprint. Think about it. How many different places is your data stored these days? Frequent data breaches. Even the most secure companies have experienced massive breaches. When raw data is centralized, a single attack can expose millions or even billions of records. Imagine the consequences if your sensitive information were part of one of those breaches. These challenges, the ubiquity of data sharing, and the alarming frequency of breaches are exactly why local DP is so critical. Now, let's dive into the details of each issue. Take a moment to observe these familiar logos from major tech companies such as Google, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and many others. Each of these organizations collects fragments of your personal information. Doesn't matter how big or small that might be, from your browsing habits to your purchasing patterns or from your use in various AI models. Isn't it striking how many different sources contribute to your digital profile? Even if no single entity has your complete picture, the combined data paints a very detailed portrait of who you are. This is precisely why local DP is so appealing. It ensures that any data leaving your device is already anonymized at the source. Have you ever wondered what your digital twin really looks like, crafted from the bits of data collected about you every day? If so, take a moment to scan the QR code on this slide and check out the profile that Google has assembled from your searches, shopping, and other online activities. I'll give you a moment to scan it. What you see is just a glimpse into how everyday online actions can be pieced together to form a personalized snapshot of your interests and habits. And remember, this is only one company's view. It's a striking reminder of the power of data aggregation and why robust privacy measures, like local differential privacy, are so essential in protecting our digital lives. Now, let's examine the other side of the challenge by considering the real-world consequences when vast amounts of data are stored in one place, as we review high-profile data breaches that vividly illustrate the severe risks of centralized data storage. This slide highlights some of the most significant data breaches in recent years. Consider these striking examples. Yahoo suffered a breach that compromised 3 billion accounts, and Marriott experienced one affecting 500 million customers. These figures aren't just numbers. They represent the devastating consequences of storing raw, unprotected data in a centralized location. Imagine if your own data were stored in such a repository and then exposed during a breach. The damage would be immense. Local DP provides a powerful countermeasure by ensuring that data is anonymized on your device before it's transmitted. Even if attackers manage to break in, they only access noisy, obfuscated data rather than your original sensitive information. By understanding both the widespread nature of data sharing and the severe consequences of breaches, it becomes clear why a decentralized, user-centric approach like local DP is not only beneficial, but necessary. So why local DP enhances privacy? Local differential privacy improves protection by moving data anonymization directly onto each device. This approach means that data is transformed before it ever leaves your device, reducing vulnerabilities. The key benefits are: no central data collection. By adding noise on each device, there's no single repository of raw data waiting to be exploited. No third-party trust required. Users aren't forced to rely solely on a company's promise to protect their data. The privacy mechanism is built into the data sharing process itself. System-wide protection. Even if a breach occurs, the data exposed is already obfuscated, preventing attackers from accessing sensitive details. Let's now explore how this privacy framework operates under the hood. The process begins with the subsample and aggregate method, which carefully limits the impact of any single data point by partitioning the dataset and securely combining intermediate summaries. Next, the local randomizer plays a pivotal role by adding precisely calibrated noise directly on each user's device, ensuring that raw data is never exposed. An LR oracle then processes these randomized outputs, transforming them into secure, query-ready responses without revealing sensitive details. Finally, local algorithms manage the overall privacy budget, ensuring that even when multiple queries are made, the cumulative privacy loss remains strictly controlled. Together, these components form a cohesive system that delivers robust protection while still enabling accurate aggregate analysis. Let's start with a core challenge in privacy, ensuring that no single individual's data unduly influences our overall results. We achieve this by dividing the dataset into manageable blocks using the subsample and aggregate method. For example, given a database with n rows, we randomly partition it into k blocks. For instance, block 1, block 2, and so on up to the kth block. For each block, we compute an intermediate summary using a function f, and then we securely aggregate these summaries using a differentially private mechanism. Because each person's data appears in only one block, any change affects just that block, not the entire dataset. This method not only reduces sensitivity, but also sets a robust foundation for our local privacy strategy. Building on that foundation, we introduce the local randomizer. In the local model, each user's data is treated as its own mini-database of size 1. The local randomizer applies a carefully designed algorithm to add precisely calibrated noise directly on the device, based on a specified privacy parameter epsilon. This ensures that the raw, unaltered data never leaves the user's device. Even if the data is intercepted, only a noisy, obfuscated version is visible. By processing data locally, we shift the responsibility of privacy from a central curator to the individual, greatly reducing the risk of large-scale breaches. Now let's see how we turn that noisy data into actionable insights. The LR Oracle acts as an intermediary. It takes an individual's index and a local randomizer, then outputs a randomized response drawn from the corresponding distribution. In other words, when a query is made, the LR Oracle converts the output of the local randomizer into a secure, query-ready response without exposing any raw data. This process bridges the gap between individual data protection and meaningful aggregate analysis, ensuring that while each response is inherently noisy, the overall system can still extract accurate statistical insights. Next, we address the challenge of handling multiple queries. Local algorithms are responsible for managing the overall privacy budget. Each time a query accesses the data through the local randomizer, a portion of the privacy parameter, say epsilon I, is consumed. The key is that the sum of these epsilon I values must remain below a predefined overall privacy budget of epsilon. Thanks to the composability of differential privacy, even as multiple queries are performed, the cumulative privacy loss remains strictly controlled. This careful budgeting ensures that our system retains its robust privacy guarantees over time, regardless of the number of queries made. Finally, by integrating the subsample and aggregate method, the local randomizer, the LR Oracle, and local algorithms, we create a cohesive, decentralized privacy framework. This system meets the rigorous standards of differential privacy, meaning that an epsilon local algorithm remains epsilon differentially private, even without centralizing raw data. By embedding privacy directly at the source, local DP minimizes the risk of large-scale breaches while empowering individuals to maintain control over their own sensitive information, all while supporting accurate aggregate analysis. Having established this robust framework, it's important to consider the inherent trade-offs that come with such strong privacy guarantees. Local DP delivers strong privacy by adding noise directly on each user's device, but it comes with a few key trade-offs. More noise. Each data point is noised individually, which can obscure signals in aggregated data and increase resource demands. Larger sample requirements. Higher noise often means needing more data to maintain the same level of statistical confidence. Limited complex computations. Advanced analyses, especially certain machine learning tasks, may become less accurate or more challenging when data is noised at the source. Balancing privacy and utility hinges on carefully tuning epsilon. A smaller epsilon yields stronger privacy, but increases noise, while a larger epsilon preserves more accuracy at the cost of weaker privacy. Having examined these trade-offs, let's now delve into the broader challenges that local DP presents in real-world applications. Local differential privacy is undoubtedly powerful, but it also brings its own set of challenges. Increased noise. Because noise is added on each device, the aggregated data can become more distorted than in a centralized setup. This distortion can obscure signals and complicate statistical analysis. Increased computational demand. Every device must generate its own noise, which leads to higher resource usage on the client side, especially in large-scale or resource-constrained environments. Reduced accuracy. As noise levels rise, analysts often require more sophisticated techniques or larger datasets to achieve the same precision as with centralized DP. Privacy utility trade-off. There is an inherent tension between safeguarding personal data and preserving its usefulness. Tighter privacy, a lower epsilon, introduces more noise, potentially reducing the quality of insights. Despite these challenges, local DP excels in scenarios where decentralization is crucial, and trust in a single data curator is low. By shifting control and noise generation to individual devices, it substantially lowers the risk of large-scale breaches and empowers users to protect their data. Next, let's compare local DP with the centralized model, highlighting how each approach tackles these challenges and why you might choose one over the other. Here's a direct comparison. Data exposure risk. Local DP, very low since raw data never leaves the user's device. Centralized DP higher, as all data is stored in one place, making it a larger target for breaches. Accuracy, local DP, typically lower because noise is added to each individual record. Centralized DP, often higher since noise is introduced only after data collection, preserving more detail initially. Sample size requirements. Local DP larger, more data is needed to overcome the added noise and maintain statistical reliability. Centralized DP smaller, as raw data can be analyzed before noise is injected. Machine learning applications. Local DP, more challenging, sophisticated models may suffer from noisy inputs. Centralized DP, easier to train complex models using the raw data prior to noise addition. Each model offers a distinct trade-off between accuracy and security. Local DP excels in scenarios where user trust is low or data sensitivity is high, while centralized DP can provide more precise results when a trusted curator is available. Now let's turn our attention to a real-world example: Apple's deployment of local DP. We'll explore how Apple applies these principles to protect user data and see how their approach successfully scales to millions of devices. When discussing local differential privacy, LDP, it's important to see it in action. Apple provides an excellent example of deploying LDP at scale while preserving privacy. Rather than collecting raw user data, Apple applies LDP directly on users' devices, adding noise before any data is transmitted. This ensures that even Apple never sees the unaltered personal data. The system then aggregates these noisy, encrypted reports to identify trends, for example, in the iconic Scenes feature within the Photos app. By using device-side privatization and secure aggregation, Apple extracts useful insights without compromising individual privacy. However, this approach also introduces challenges in balancing privacy, accuracy, and data utility, which we will explore further through Apple's iconic Scenes example. In iOS 16, Apple introduced the Apple Neural Scene Analyzer, or in short ANSA, a multitask neural architecture designed to support various photo-related functions, such as the Memories feature. Key features. First, on-device processing. ANSA performs all computations directly on the user's device, no cloud involvement. This approach ensures faster processing and stronger security, and it lays the foundation for integrating local differential privacy (LDP) in later steps. Second, visual backbone. While ANSA supports several downstream tasks, we will skip those details for brevity. With ANSA enabling on-device scene understanding, Apple can now incorporate LDP to ensure that user data remains private while still contributing to aggregated trends. Next, we'll explore how LDP applies to learning iconic scenes in Apple Photos. In the Photos app, Apple aims to identify common iconic scenes to enhance user experience in two key ways. The Memories feature automatically creates personalized memory collections. The Places feature recommends the best location-based photos. Directly collecting users' photo locations and captured scenes would severely compromise privacy. To address this, Apple combines local differential privacy (LDP) with secure aggregation. This approach ensures that user data remains private and anonymized while still enabling Apple to learn global scene trends. Implemented since iOS 17, this privacy-preserving strategy reinforces Apple's commitment to on-device security and user privacy. Let's take a brief look at the system architecture behind learning iconic scenes with differential privacy. Privacy-first collection. Data processing begins on the user's device, where raw data is immediately processed and privatized. Local processing and privatization. Before any data leaves the device, it undergoes transformation to prevent raw data exposure. Secure aggregation. Multiple user reports are securely combined so that individual data remains hidden. Server-side analysis. Aggregated insights are sent to the server, where trends are extracted and fed into experimental deployments, all while upholding strict privacy standards. How does one-hot encoding (OHE) protect data before transmission? Step 1. One-hot encoding. Each scene category, for example, person, sky, or recreation, is transformed into a one-hot vector on the user's device. For instance, if a user captures a sky scene, the device encodes it as 010. A person scene might be encoded as 100. This ensures uniform data representation. Step 2. Noise addition. To safeguard privacy via local differential privacy (LDP), random bit flipping is applied to the one-hot vector. Each bit is flipped with a defined probability, so the exact original data cannot be reconstructed. This process renders each user's contribution indistinguishable while still enabling the extraction of aggregated trends. With OHE and noise addition, user data is obscured before it leaves the device. Next, we will explore how Apple aggregates these privatized reports securely. While adding noise protects individual data, aggregation is essential to restore useful insights. The privacy-bound model ensures that as more users participate, overall privacy is amplified. The binary vector produced after privatization is input to the binary randomized response 2RR mechanism, which controls noise at the individual level. If only one user contributes, the noise might be overwhelming. However, as participation increases, the noise cancels out at the group level, making aggregated insights more reliable. Using Zhiyi Differential Privacy (RDP), we can formalize that the effective epsilon decreases as the number of contributions, n, increases. More contributions lead to stronger privacy protection. Let's now see how secure aggregation is implemented in Apple's system to extract useful insights while preserving privacy. Secure aggregation ensures that no single party can access raw user reports. Each user's noisy, one-hot encoded vector is split into two separate shares, rendering each share meaningless on its own. These shares are encrypted with distinct public keys and then uploaded to Apple's servers. Two servers, commonly known as the leader and the helper, independently aggregate these shares. Once combined, the system recovers only the final noised aggregate and individual user data is never revealed. This approach guarantees that no single entity, not even Apple, can access individual reports, while still allowing the system to learn global patterns. Next, we will explore how these aggregated statistics help identify iconic scenes efficiently. The final step involves decoding the noisy aggregate vector from all devices back into location and photo categories, which can then be visualized on a map. For example, the output might show that scene categories like sky might be 29.4% and people might be 27.3% are the most common. These normalized frequencies allow Apple to enhance features such as memories and places without ever accessing individual user data. Additionally, since no one can view a single user's vector, detecting malicious updates becomes challenging. To mitigate this, Apple employs prio validation to filter out any malicious inputs, ensuring that only legitimate aggregated data contributes to learning trends. That is the complete process of how Apple builds iconic scenes by applying local differential privacy. Let's now review the benefits and challenges of using local differential privacy in Apple's iconic scenes feature. Advantages: on-device processing protection. No raw user data is transmitted to Apple servers, ensuring maximum privacy. Privacy-preserving noise. Combining binary randomized response, 2RR, with one-hot encoding makes individual reports unrecoverable. Privacy amplification via secure aggregation. As more users contribute, noise cancels out, allowing only high-frequency scene patterns to be extracted while rare data is filtered out to prevent re-identification. No centralized raw data collection. Only aggregated statistics are used, so even Apple cannot reconstruct individual user preferences. Challenges: accuracy trade-off due to noise. The inherent noise can reduce the precision of individual reports, requiring a large number of users to achieve reliable insights. Uneven data representation. Some scene categories may be underrepresented if fewer users contribute. Privacy utility trade-off. Stronger privacy, a lower epsilon, reduces data utility, meaning Apple must carefully optimize its learning models. Preventing malicious data injection. Although aggregation reduces risks, Apple still needs robust anomaly detection to ensure data integrity. Overall, Apple's innovative implementation of LDP in the iconic scenes feature not only fortifies user privacy with unmatched rigor, but also drives actionable insights that elevate the user experience. While this advanced system adeptly transforms noisy data into meaningful trends, the pursuit of enhanced accuracy and data quality remains a dynamic challenge. one that continues to spur groundbreaking advancements at the critical intersection of privacy and performance. Before we conclude, let's take a moment to seamlessly recap the main insights from our discussion on local differential privacy and understand why each element is so critical. First, consider the local DP concept. By shifting the noise-adding process directly onto each user's device, local DP eliminates the need for a centralized data collector. This decentralization drastically reduces the risk of large-scale data breaches because raw data is never stored in a single, vulnerable location. Building on this, we explored the system architecture. Our framework leverages device-side noise generation paired with secure aggregation, exemplified by real-world deployments like Apple's. This shows that local DP isn't just a theoretical concept. It's a scalable solution capable of protecting user data while still delivering valuable insights. Moreover, this approach significantly enhances the user experience. Since raw data remains on the device and only anonymized outputs are shared, personalized services such as recommendations and analytics can be provided without compromising privacy. This builds trust, as users know that their sensitive information is safeguarded at all times. Lastly, we address the delicate balance between privacy and functionality. There is an inherent tension here, managed by carefully tuning the privacy parameter, epsilon. Striking the right balance is essential. It ensures robust privacy without sacrificing the accuracy needed for actionable insights. In summary, local differential privacy unites a user-centric approach with practical, scalable implementation. It not only meets rigorous privacy standards, but also empowers individuals and drives real-world applications. Thank you all for listening and for your time today. We hope you found this exploration of local differential privacy insightful. If you have any questions or would like to continue the discussion, please feel free to reach out to us.